Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. First of all, is my voice clear? My presentation clear?
Clear.
Alright, so today's topic is fertilization, chapter 7. So I'm going to be fast because when I look back your Google Classroom post, we already I'm not sure why I already posted another chapter on development. Okay, when I calculate the weeks that we have, so might be I will cover until this part here, sex and gender determination on week 14. So in order to cover until the hormones of reproduction, so today we will finish up this fertilization. And I hope tomorrow we can have another session so that we can cover development, maybe partly or the rest of the most of chapter 8. But let's see how it goes. Okay. All right. So for chapter 7, fertilization. Previously, before your semester break, the second semester break, your special break, we covered the ovulation. So I just want to remind you guys that the reproduction costs, when you look into these chapters, the chapters included in the reproduction cost, it's like a step by step of a human life cycle. Okay, so let's see. First chapter we learn about introduction of reproduction. Second, the anatomy itself. So we have to understand this in order to enter the cycle itself. Okay, so why we start with the puberty? Because puberty is the starting point of a human being having a functional reproductive system. Okay, he or she are capable to reproduce another human being, female or male animal capable of reproducing another their offspring. Okay, so and then gametogenesis, how to produce the gamete itself, the generate gamete, and then ovarian cycle, really understand the female part of cycle. Okay, the female reproductive cycle. Okay, and then we know that the peak, the mid cycle, we have ovulation event, the expulsion of the egg, so that the egg will be contained or will be transferred or explode into the transferred or transport into the female reproductive tract, the fallopian tube, fimbriae into the fallopian tube and the uterus. Okay, when the eggs available, then the fertilization can occur. Okay, so the fertilization is another step towards producing another human being or another offspring. Okay, so this fertilization, now in chapter 7 we will not talk about only one part. We will talk in a female, in a male part and also the female part. Okay, that's why I have this sort of like a mind map so that student can follow. Tak suka lah dia ni, tak nak kawan. Kau ni kan aku tak suka. Ish. Nak buat mana ni? Ni tengok kat sini. Okay. Alright, so this is I just now like a draft, I jot something before we start this class. Okay. So in chapter 7, of course we have this is just a revision or refresh about internal fertilization and external fertilization. So external fertilization basically the other type of animals kingdom, okay, that lays egg outside, okay, and the fertilization occur outside in the water environment especially, okay. And internal fertilization for the most complex animal, that fertilization occur inside the female reproductive system. Okay, so this first part, I hope this is easy enough for you to refresh yourself or revise yourself. But again, if you have any question, you can ask in the group or a private message. Okay, and then I think I want to just focus on one 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay. Okay, this part here, I hope you can see my scribble over here. Okay. So this part here, what I wrote here is sperm part and also versus the female tract condition, meaning now in fertilization, the sperms already inside the, or maybe not, yeah, the sperms already arrive in female reproductive tract. Okay. Starting from vagina, and then it will travel, transported, swim into upper tract of the female reproductive system. Okay, so that's why I put here number one, the transportation. I just scribble trans with P and dot transportation. I hope you understand this. Okay, we in this chapter we have to be able to know the pathway of the sperm. Okay, starting point from where to where. Okay, transportation. The second one is the about physiology. Okay, so mind my language here. I just want to be fast. So the physiology changes for the sperms in order for them to be able penetrating the ovum. Okay, okay. So you have to understand this sperm transportation, the sperm physiology changes, and then when we know about the transportation, we have to understand the female reproductive tract condition. Okay, from the vagina into cervix, into vagina, cervix, and upper the uterine wall. Okay, uterine wall, and then to fallopian tube. All of these part over here have their own obstacle or challenges for the sperm to face. Okay, the sperm need to face or need to overcome the obstacle each part of this track. Okay, the most what can we say, the most healthy, in good condition, powerful sperm will eventually arrive at the fertilization site, where at the upper third of fallopian tube. Okay, upper third, upper tak best tulis sikit. And upper third of fallopian tube is where the fertilization site occur. Okay, wherever. Okay. So this is vagina, cervix, C, uterine wall itself. Okay, and fallopian tube. Okay. So that's why this is my explanation and elaboration just now for this scribble over here. Okay. So, and then when we understand about the transportation of sperm and the condition of the female tract condition, the female tract, so that we know the challenges that the sperm faces in order to arrive at the upper part of fertilization, fallopian tube for fertilization step. Then we know I think the most main thing is the phases of fertilization, or steps, or process, whatever you want to comprehend it, as long as you understand. Okay, process of the fertilization or phases of fertilization. In order to understand this, it really helpful for us to understand the ovum structure. I think this is my cartoon scribble here. The most outer layer here is the, if you remember, the ovulated ovum have the cumulus osporus, right? If I'm use the wrong term, please correct me. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, cumulus osporus, cumulus. The follicle cells that surrounding the ovum, and then we have the zona pellucida, and then we have the vitelline space, or like a like a jelly coating over here. So if I'm not mistaken, this part over here, the ventral space, it consists of connective tissue. Okay, or any type of the molecular structure, the macromolecule structure will be something related with connective cells or substances or fluid. Yeah, something with not really hard cells. Okay, but please check in the reference book. Okay, and then after that ventral space, then we have the ovum cell membrane itself, the most inner part layer. Okay, ovum cell membrane. Okay, so in between of these layers over here, of course, we have eventually when we go through these phases, we know that there will be a receptors, okay, for the binding for the sperm binding. So I think if I'm not mistaken, the receptors located at zona pellucida, okay, ZP1, ZP2, ZP3. Okay, now I'm like discussing like a summarize of the chapter 7. Okay, if we have a lot of time, we will cover slide by slide. Okay, if not, I just cover the most important part. So and then after zona procedure, the ventral space here at the oocyte ovum cell membrane inside this part, the inner layer, we have the vesicle or cortical. Okay, vesicle. So consists of something. So eventually this structure over here will help us to understand the phases here. Okay. So this is my scribble. I'm not sure whether the latecomers might have difficult time to understand this. Okay. So you might want to ask the earlier comers, the earlier attendees, so that you understand what is my scribble over here. So now we go to our slide. Okay, I hope I use the same slide that I posted in the Google Classroom, but that's all right. Maybe a few that I excluded out, meaning it's not too important. If you have any question, you can ask. Okay, so this slide over here, let me see. Okay. So learning outcome, definition of fertilization and syngamy. This is syngamy is about type of nucleus fusion, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, but we will look it's later part of it. Able to describe the modes of fertilization. I hope by now it's already a concept of facts that embedded in your head. Okay, mechanism of fertilization. So this one that we will look into the phases and mechanism. Sperm and oocyte factors in fertilization. So these are number 3 of pink color here, pink color dot or whatever point here. It's the early part of this slide. Okay. And then the last part, yes, polyspermy prevention. So let me see. Let me add another one. So this one dah tahu kita kena tahu this one ni patutnya senang. And then we know about this sperm part and this one, and then we want to know about the phases. When we understand the phases or mechanism of the fertilization, eventually the body itself, subhanallah, it's a unique, the body itself or the step itself has a mechanism or what we can say, approach or mechanism to block. Okay, we call it polyspermy. Just now, wait. Polyspermy prevention. Okay. So the body itself or the step itself, any the enzyme reaction or chemical or whatever, and when we learn about this, we have a polyspermy prevention, meaning once prevent. Okay. I hope you understand. Once a sperm successfully penetrate this ovum, Okay, meaning successfully, meaning only one sperm will bind to the receptor, and then only one sperm will able to penetrate this oocyte cell membrane or fuse with oocyte cell membrane. Then the rest of millions of sperm that that cover or that surrounding this ovum oocyte, okay, will be kicked out or will not be able to penetrate the same ovum. Okay, so that is the polyspermy prevention. So we will look into this also. Okay, so that is the only outcome. So the early part. So this one is overview. It's like a step-by-step gametes production of gametes oocyte. We need oocyte and sperm. Now we know that sperm is already inside the female tract, and then it will undergo acrosomal reaction, and then cell fusion, cortical fusion, and then at this stage here, cortical fusion, the sperm cell membrane already fused with the oocyte cell membrane, and the nucleus that the sperm carry already enter the oocyte. Okay, so therefore it will initiate the completion of meiosis division 2 for the oocyte. If you remember gametogenesis, oogenesis especially, we have two arrested phase, arrested phase, the meiotic division 1, but it will complete due to puberty, right? If I'm not mistaken, or the can't remember. But the second arrested phase, so at meiotic division 2 will be completed or will continue when the sperm penetrate the ovum. Okay. All right, and then pronuclear fusion, and then at the end we have zygote. Okay, so this is the step before we go to acrosomal reaction. This is the phase. This is the phases. The mechanism of phase of fertilization. So before that, we will look into sperm and oocyte. So yeah, this one is easy. Okay, I don't want to cover this. If you have any question later, you can ask. Okay, mechanism. Okay, I think the most important why this one is in red in color. Please be aware that gametes transportation moving in opposite direction. Okay, important to realize that gametes are moving in opposite direction. If I can draw here, no, I cannot draw. Can I? Yeah. Okay, saya cuba. So we have this. Tulisan kartun lah okay. Pimbri. So, oocyte is over here. This sperm is over here. Okay. Opposite direction. Sperm will swim towards upper. Okay. But the ovum will move towards downward. Okay. The sperm move towards upper part of the female reproductive, right? But the female egg will move towards downward. Okay, so opposite direction. So I hope you understand this. So this slide is about viability of the eggs about 12 to 24 hours after fertilization, the sperm 12 to 48 hours after ejaculation. So this viability of oocyte and sperm is very important for a couple to understand this, okay, in order for them to get successful fertilization, okay. Okay, sperm cells must make their way to uterine tubes for fertilization to be possible. Okay, this one is okay. Rapid phase transport is probably due to copulation. Okay, so this is the factors that help in spermatozoa transportation. The first one is this peristaltic contraction. So cervix itself, it have smooth muscle or muscle that can contract. So peristaltic contraction at the cervix, and even the uterine wall itself, endometrium. Okay, these are peristaltic contraction. Not actually, if you know that esophagus, right? Esophagus in digestive system, the peristaltic really push downward the bolus, right? But this one, because of peristaltic contraction, the smooth muscle is contract itself will move the sperm, but indirectly the contraction will make the current, the fluid current towards, okay, will be flowy, the current, fluid current. Okay. Ow. Okay. Due to the contraction will it will indirectly make the fluid current towards the upper part. Okay. Okay, you can see the green color oxytocin. So this is the substances that contribute to the peristaltic contraction. We know that oxytocin is a hormone that stimulate muscle contraction. Prostaglandin also substances, okay, that stimulate muscle contraction. Okay, any organs that have muscle cells or smooth muscle can produce this prostaglandin. Oxytocin produced by pituitary. Okay. And then what else? The factors sustain transport. Sustain transport, barriers to transport, mechanism to transport, movement from vagina. Sustain transport. This sustain transport, if I'm not mistaken, it contributed by the sperm itself. They move, they can swim, and also the fluid current. Okay, the fluid current due to the peristaltic. Okay. And also, if we zoom out the structure of this cervix and endometrium and also the fallopian tube, they also have cilia. Okay. Okay. So this, all of this structure, we have to refer to the textbook. They will mention about this. So this cilia also will make the flowy current. Okay. Fluid current that help in transportation of the spermatozoa. Okay, so about transportation of the spermatozoa, we have to relate with the barriers appearing while they are transporting. Okay, yeah. So that barriers are contributed by the female reproductive structure itself. Okay, greatest barrier for species that deposit semen in the vagina. So the cervix itself is the greatest barrier for the sperm to uh, to penetrate, or not to need to overcome before they enter the uterine part over here. Okay, the cervix itself. Okay, ini vagina. Ayolah, the vagina bawah sikit. Okay. Okay, the cervix itself is a greatest barrier. First, due to the mucus. Okay, the cervix can secrete mucus. So this cervix mucus is very different in substances, depending on the cycle part. Okay, the phases of if you remember, we have the day 0 and then day 14 ovulation. Okay, the LH surge, and then day 28. Okay, cervix mucus at this part is very different in substances or the content of the materials compared to this part. Okay, so this usually the mucus after ovulation. Okay, exactly here. The cervix mucus here able to support the sperm transportation. But if the population occur occur very early before ovulation, so this cervix mucus over here have substances or become very sticky, that it will mostly stop or make difficult for the sperm to go through the cervix barriers into this structure. Okay. Okay. Cervix mucus channel sperm along cervical fluid. Okay, depend on the stages. Sperm motility appears necessary. So at this stage, the sperm need to be motile in order to overcome the cervix mucus barriers, and then the cervix mucus also filters out the dead and abnormal sperm. So the good thing for cervix mucus, it also helps the most healthy sperm to go through, okay, and then it will filter all the dyes out of bad sperm. It will stay over here, okay. Cervix also act as reservoir by trapping some and feeding them slowly to the uterus. Alright, it's also the cervix mucus. The cervix itself can secrete like a nutrient or substances that become a food for the sperm. Okay, become metabolic substances. Okay. Okay, still about the cervix. This is about the cervix mucus just now. Okay. Okay. Okay, about the cervix. Okay, uterus. Sperm likely travel along the endometrium towards the oviduct. Okay, the sperm motility contribute to the transportation of the sperm plus the contraction of the uterus. Okay, the peristaltic contraction just now. It will contribute to the transportation of the sperm towards the ovum. Okay. Segmented peristaltic contraction of the ampulla cilia. So at the ampulla. Okay. Here have cilia until this part over here. Okay. With independent. Okay. Ampulla beat in the direction of the uterus. So cilia over here, the ampulla here, it will the cilia will move or beat that contribute to the fluid direction towards the uterus. Okay. Oh, so this is for oocyte part. So oocyte moves quickly through the ampulla to the ampullary isthmus junction. Okay. Okay. So this is transportation oocyte. The sperm transportation is very far. Okay. Usually, you have to understand both. Okay lah. This one uterus, this one dah tahu Sperm motility contribute to the sperm transportation and the contraction of the uterus. Okay, what else? Contraction of myometrium helps some sperm reach the oviduct just now. Okay, I think you have understanding. If there are sperm around, fertilization normally occur within a day of ovulation.